Okay guys, today's gonna be a different video and I'm trying to get through it in one take without crying, but it's been a very long night and no promises. So pardon the puffiness, let's just get through it. Today we're gonna talk about losing pets, especially bonded pets and bunnies. And even if you're squeamish about death or it's just too sad, this is gonna be really informational. I'm gonna give you a lot of stuff to prepare you should anything happen, things to buy, and you wouldn't cry over a video about learning to change a flat tire. These things happen, and it's best to be prepared, to know where your jack is, if you even have one. How do you change a flat tire? Do you have AAA? It's going to be a good video for anybody with pets. So I never ask people to share my videos. I never make videos like this, but this will be a real helpful one to have in your arsenal before anything happens. So hopefully, also, I'm hoping that we can use the comment section for this video to just share what has worked for us, what hasn't worked for us, and just give people some grace and leeway, because this is a hard subject. We love our little pets. It's so heartbreaking when we lose one, as I did just yesterday. But okay, I'll spare you a long history, but I've had lots of guinea pigs. I've had turtles and dogs and cats and chickens and everything. But these are my first rabbits. I got them from a lady who said she was a rescue. I think she was just a hoarder. It was some lady on Craigslist. We met in a Dollar General parking lot. They were in a cardboard box, obviously a red flag if you are a rescue and you don't have a pet carrier. I didn't care. They were so cute. I brought them home. They're sisters. They are Black Otter Holland Lops, so they have the floppy, sad ears. And we might see Mariposa, although she's sitting and having some time to herself right now, so we'll give her a little respect. It's hard. And her sister Paloma, who has always had some medical problems. I looked up megacolon when I first got them 3 years ago, because she was making these like massive poops from outer space that were just like, what is going on? Where did that come out? And nothing on the internet prepared me for these like massive globs that she would make every once in a while. And anybody who owns bunnies knows that like bunny and poop, like everything is about their poop. Are they pooping? What size is it? What, like, we are unfortunately like obsessed with their poop. And she had a lot of vet bills. If you don't have $1 billion and a lot of patience, then bunnies are not for you. Because bunnies are like free outside everywhere until you take them to a vet and you find out they are very expensive and they're very exotic. And it's like bringing a pterodactyl to a vet. It's going to cost you a lot. So Paloma had ultrasound when she was a baby. They thought she had something wrong with her liver, some twisted thing. They said we could do exploratory surgery. We didn't. They did get fixed, and they've been great bunnies for 3 years. They don't, well, maybe Mariposa chews some cords, but Paloma was an angel. And they had such different personalities. Like, so to tell you that I know everything about bunnies when my two were so completely different from one another, I know nothing, but I'm sharing everything I do know. Paloma was more of like a dog personality. Where are you going? Can I go with you? I like you. Oh yeah, you can pet me there. You can pet me anywhere. Oh yeah, she was just so happy. You'd scratch her butt and she would like turn her little potato body around and like lick your hand to thank you while you're doing it. I guess she had a real itchy butt. Mariposa, the opposite. Leave me alone. Don't look at me. And so it's been, I've called Mariposa +1 for many years. So it's been just interesting getting to know their different personalities and different needs and stuff. So 4 days ago, Paloma laid the most like massive turd you ever, like honestly the size of the palm of your hand. It was like 3 inches by 2 inches by an inch thick. Super concerning. And I've learned a lot through this about treats and bananas. Like, they love it. They love the like garbage snacks, but it's not good for them. And so you're really not treating someone if you're doing something to harm them. So I had dialed back on all those garbage treats, except for one, which I will show you. So sometimes you get scared that your bunny's like not eating and you're like, is this stasis? Are we there? Like, run, we gotta get all of our stuff together. And so these stupid garbage treats, and like maybe your bunny varies, but like my bunnies, because they came from some hoarder lady, they don't understand toys. They don't eat hay. They only eat fresh foods. And so that's parsley and cilantro, radish greens. You want to know if your radishes are fresh? Buy them by the bunch, because a lot of those radishes at the grocery store are old. You want them with the greens on top. And the bunnies won't really eat the radishes, but they like the greens. Mint is really good for them. Dill, dandelion greens, green leaf lettuce, red leaf lettuce. Okay, but that's really just like water shaped like a salad. No iceberg lettuce. There's a whole list online of things to never give your bunnies. But this is really the only treats that my bunnies cared about. And so this would just be the barometer to find out, like, are we going through GI stasis? If they eat it, like, okay, good. She's got an appetite. But Paloma was not interested in any of that stuff. And so then you go through the whole GI stasis protocol, which I'm going to show you right now. And I'm going to show you the things that I already had, going to the vet many times, and what I did and the times that I did it. So, because the bunnies have been to the vet a lot for tooth trims and all that stuff, and a lot of that is like not eating hay. They're not getting a lot of that grinding. A lot of it's being a Holland lob, having the same amount of teeth but squished into a cute little face. Causes them a lot of problems. That's very expensive. So at any rate, the first sign besides the poop was she had this like big distended firm belly, big bloated belly, and you could hear gurgling inside of it. So I knew, like, first of all, gas drops. So the gas drops that I get, you don't want anything with sugar in it. You can get it in the baby aisle, regular human babies at the grocery store. You don't want sugar and you don't want flavored ones. If that's all they got, it's better than nothing. And it comes with a little, they call it a syringe. There's no needle on it. But you are going to shake it up really well, dip this all the way down to the bottom and suck it all the way up until the syringe stops. This is how much you're going to give your bunny. You can kind of get back behind their little front teeth. You're going to only give them a teeny little bit at a time. You're going to go so slowly, and hopefully they start to lick it and swallow and swallow and swallow and swallow. Paloma was just so like despondent. She was having a lot of it come out. So you want to make sure that you try to like wiggle it so that it gets into a place where they are actually taking it all in, and give them a lot of praise, because the last thing you want when you are Thanksgiving full is for somebody to put more into your belly. But the bunny gas drops really do help to kind of alleviate that. If you have bunnies, you know, they can't barf, they can't burp, they can't fart. Like, they have a closed system that needs to be constantly moving, and things can be catastrophic very quickly. So you have to take it very seriously. So that's the gas drops. Now, they're going to get a syringe of this every 4 hours. Does that mean you wake up in the middle of the night? I would. Your bunnies are awake all night long, and they really, really need you. We take on this responsibility for these little lives. Oh, I've got a bunny coming to see me. Hi, friend. Hi. Okay, there she goes. So then I'm sure you guys have heard of critical care. So you would get this at any kind of pet store. It's very ground up. You want like fine. There's a scoop in it, but you would put a tablespoon in. I'm going to give you a little trick. So you put a tablespoon into like a small little bowl, whatever, and then 2 tablespoons of like really warm water. You want it to feel soothing going down, right? But just like oatmeal, it's basically like chopped up hay. It's going to soak up some of that water. And just like if you ate a packet of oatmeal, that's going to be terrible. Like once it goes in, they're already dehydrated enough, because if they're going through GI stasis, they do not want to drink water. They don't want to move. They are feeling really gross. So you want to make it really watery. So I would say 1 part of this to 2 parts of warm tap water. Let it sit for like 10 minutes. It's going to soak up, and you're going to realize you need to add more water. You want it to be pretty liquidy. Now, I'll show you what I put mine in. I started with one of these, also called a syringe, no needle. The tip on it was a little bit larger. Do I do that like I'm a makeup influencer? So I cut off the tip of it because the hay will get stuck in it. And then I was like finding that I would be pushing, and then it would squirt a whole bunch into her face at once, which of course is even more traumatizing on top of feeling gross. I did have a little plastic turkey baster, but this bulb wasn't really sealed enough to have any kind of like push, and then it was kind of like going all back. I had a metal turkey baster, which had more of like a needle tip on it, and I didn't want anything sharp near the bunny's face. So if you have something better than what I've got, if you could link it in the comments and we could all help each other here, that would be great, because clearly I have one bunny left and I need to get something in case anything happens to her next time. Now this critical care is going to be once every 4 hours also, and you're going to do 2 full ones of this. So this is 10 milliliters. So you pop this off. I washed it. And you fill it from the top. Don't try to suck it in through this. You're not going to do it. It's hay. So you put it in through there. And by the time you get that ready to go, you're already at like 10 milliliters, whatever that is. And so you're going to give them 2 full ones of this every 2 hours. That sounds like a lot, but what you're trying to do is force that system to keep moving. Now, there are instances where they could have a blockage, but if your bunny is pooping, like, you're doing well. So you want to keep pooping, more poop. So 2 of these every 4 hours with your gas drops. Now, you're going to be going to the vet a lot with bunnies. They are problem children. When you go to the vet, even if they don't have any issues, ask for a little thing of meloxicam. It's like a white liquidy stuff. Shake it. They'll give you a little syringe with it. Now, they're going to get a prescription for their body weight. My little buns were very small, so the amount, I think, was 1.4 on this bunny, the skinny bunny, and 1.6 on Puloma. So what I did was I just took a little piece of colored paper or a Post-it and put it and taped it on there so that you're not trying to like figure out the measurement every single time. I know that I'm going to suck it up to there. So the meloxicam has this little tip on it, and you're going to shove that into the tip. You want to shake it up really, really well. Better than that. And then you're going to take it upside down, pretend you're a doctor, and you're just going to start drawing it in. You can draw it in much further than your little thing, but then you're going to push it back to about where your bunny is going to take the meloxicam, and then you just pop it off. And now this is ready to go back behind their teeth. And she got this 1 time a day, the meloxicam. And that is for inflammation, for pain. It doesn't make them loopy. It just makes them tolerate life a little bit better. And so you want to have that meloxicam on standby before anything happens. So when you go for a little well visit for your buns, make sure that you get some meloxicam. The other thing that I got from my vet is this, and it's like a probiotic little stick, and you twist it. There's a little thing on it. You twist it to whatever level that your bunny is prescribed. Usually it's 1 full turn or a half turn once a day. And this is great for like sort of resetting that gut biome. So especially if they're going through GI stasis and you're getting like all new things. My bunny had been taking some antibiotics before because she got cut during a grooming and she had drooling eyes. Did I tell you that bunnies are expensive? So she had these eye drops twice a day for 21 days and a pretty powerful antibiotic. Her poop was very small, very black. She was very unhappy. She went off of the antibiotic last week, and then that's when her gut just was trying to reset, and it was just too much for her. So the probiotic, she's going to get half a twist once a day, and again, it's just a little plastic nozzle. Let's see if we can get Mariposa to eat some. And so you just give it a little bit and let them lick it off of the tip of it. Oh, she's eating in there. She's not going to come. She's totally eating. Okay, well, I will save that little bit for her. She will come and find that. And that's also like a good treat for them that they have every once in a while. And the other thing I was doing, I'm going to show you my little porcupine stuffed animal, but was massages. Now, she feels bloated and in pain. Gas in rabbits is so terrible. They feel awful. So you don't want to be giving them any kind of crazy sort of massages as much as they can stand. Paloma was great with me holding her. And so I would just hold all of her body weight like this. And then I would give just the most gentle little pressure on her belly. If that got to be too much, which it did the second day, just take their hind legs and just kind of move their body a little bit, twist them a little, let her stretch out, squish her up. And this is a way that you can be a little bit less invasive than squeezing. You don't want to squeeze. They really are miserable. So there's more massage where you could do where you lay them on the table and you kind of like rotate their belly like this and give them a little bit of like a little bit harder than a regular pet. Paloma wanted nothing to do with that. She was digging and angry, and that is not my bun. So I wasn't doing anything to anger her, but she could tolerate this like gentle movement. You want to encourage them to exercise, encourage them to walk. My bunnies are, my bunny, that's sad. They have this whole giant room all of themselves. Well, Mariposa does. And so, you know that they like to be in their one little spot. And so I would say that when you're doing these like feedings and stuff, that instead of putting her back in her perfect little spot that she wants to be in, put her on the other side. Encourage them to walk around your house if they're not free range, like my buns are. They can go wherever they want. And to encourage them to go to their hiding spot. That movement is good. You want to just stimulate everything to just start working again. And so we did this for 2 days. Of course, this happens on a Friday. I call our regular vet, which is just so wonderful. I'm in the Lansing, Michigan area, and there's Cedar Creek Veterinary in Williamston. They're just so wonderful, such great people, and they really love them. So they said if she gets any worse, to take her to urgent care. The urgent care for us in Lansing is about 80 miles away. It's in Novi and called like Animal Emergency. I don't really like them. I've been there twice. Once when she got cut and they really didn't care, and they said there's nothing we can really do about it. And she couldn't breathe. They wouldn't do a tear duct flush, which I had done through my regular vet before. So before these things happen, get a vet on standby and know who is your emergency 3 a.m. Vet care. Ask your vet who they recommend. My vet recommends this place. I don't really like them. I still don't like them. So get all of those numbers on standby in your phone already so that you know where you're going to call, what you're going to do if anything happens. So Paloma just wasn't doing well yesterday afternoon. She just was like not herself. You could pose her any which way and she would just stay there. You couldn't see her little nostrils flaring. She just was like shallow breathing. She was just miserable. And even though the vet said that, you know, just do this every 4 hours and this treatment, it just wasn't enough. And I wasn't going to wait. She's got an appointment next week that obviously I have to cancel. But it was time to go to the ER. So we get in the car. Usually when we're in the car, Paloma wants to sit on my lap, being a little bit squeezed and a lot pet while like somebody else drives the car. And so this time she just didn't want anything. She was just so sad. So we get to this emergency vet, a 24-hour vet, and they said they've never seen a bunny so sick before. Oof, this is where it's gonna get hard. And they said that they could keep her overnight and do what I was doing, and it was gonna cost $2,000 to keep her overnight. And they said, we don't think that she's gonna make it. Even if she does make it, as soon as she goes home, like, this is the sickest rabbit that we've ever seen. And they suggested euthanasia and cremation. That's hard to think about when you are talking about your pet that you're responsible for, that you took this responsibility for this little life, and then you're going to be responsible for ending it. And it was just too much. I had to make some calls, and they were very good in letting me just have the room by myself. And you can tell a lot of pets die in this place because they said, don't come out in the hallway. Here's a little button you can push to let us know to come and get you. So if you have a button that you have to push because you know a lot of people are crying there, that's imagine if you had that button at like a dressing room. So anyway, I decided that I wanted to take her body home so that she could get buried here at our house. I'm going to talk to you about bonding the rabbits for one last time. So this part is maybe the most important part that I learned in this whole process. And there were different varying rates. Cremation, one, they're not going to give it back to you like right away, whatever. But I would argue against cremation for these reasons. One, you're going to pay for it, but two, it's not beneficial if you have another bunny that is bonded to your bun. I did a lot of research last night. It was good to keep myself busy instead of like in that grief headspace. So I learned a lot about bonded rabbits and that it's really good for the surviving bun to see and smell their friend, to be able to have that closure. And it was hard. It was hard. I didn't want to see my bunny. And ultimately, after I made the decision, the doctor just came right back and said to me, didn't matter if you made the decision, she just died in the back room. And that was a little bit alleviating. She might have lied to me because she knew how hard it was for me to make that decision, to make me feel a little bit better about it. And if she lied to me, thank you so much, because I really needed that. But they gave me Paloma. She came in her little pet carrier and they gave her to me in a bag. I don't know how I explain the bag, but it's sort of fabric and sort of plastic, and it's like a little pet body bag. It's not a plastic bag. It's not see-through. I wasn't ready for it. Like, I feel bad cutting a brown leaf off a houseplant. I was not ready to see my bun, especially after like the miserable week that she had had. So I was really grateful that it was opaque and they put her in a beautiful little pose that I saw later into the carrier. So I just had to put the carrier in the car and just drive the 80 miles home. Now I get on the internet and I see that bonded rabbits really should be able to say goodbye. And of course, I want whatever is best for her, even if it's hard for me. So I got her out. I unzipped it. I left her. I didn't touch her. I just left her. She's in sort of like a laying down, beautiful position, looking so sweet, and just got out of the room so that they can have that time together. I did watch it from the other room, so I can tell you what happened. It was so interesting. I learned so much. Not that you can tell from this, but I used to be a pretty tough LAPD cop. And I taught interview and interrogation and body language for the department. And so I've seen people go through a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of death. I think it's just different when it's something that seems so helpless that you've been in love with. But the body language that I saw was so interesting. I learned so much from watching this interaction. She left her alone for a while. It was actually a really good sign because Mariposa was eating, and she was about 3 feet away. She comes over and she sniffs Paloma's feet, both of them, and then she goes back to eating. I'm like, okay, maybe she doesn't get it, or maybe she doesn't care. It's possible. They said, and a lot of the things I said that I saw was that it could take minutes, it could take hours for them to get it, to understand that their friend is no longer alive, or that, you know, that there's no more bonded pair. But it's good for them to see and smell that animal. Now, she had just died, you know, an hour or so before. And they say that this process of being able to see the bunny about 3 hours, no more than 6 hours. I let the bunny out for 9 hours overnight, just let them be together. She was visiting her throughout the night and sleeping next to her. And I just thought I didn't want to hurry up that process. What I can tell you is, after 9 hours of my bunny in my heated house, there's no smell, there's no nothing. Like, that's fine. Like, it's okay to do that. And then you can bury her in a perfect spot in the yard. We already have like an angel statue out there, and it's going to be a beautiful place for her to be. But for them to have that closure, it really helps them with the grief process, that they're not going to have that searching, like confusion and worry. It helps them kind of get it. And bunnies don't really seem like the smartest animals. So I didn't know that she was going to get it. But after sniffing her and walking away and coming over and grooming Paloma's face, which she never does. Paloma always grooms Mariposa. She is like a tumbleweed, and she would, like, she never grooms herself. So, so to see Mariposa grooming Paloma was so sweet and so different. So, there was that care there. And then she did the strangest thing. She, like, Paloma was laying on her side, and she kind of just went up and like just sort of like pounced on her a couple of times like that, and was like, hey. I thought almost like she was gonna hump her, because they used to do that when they were like little bunnies before they got fixed. But she didn't. She just did something so different I've never seen before. It was just sort of like a smush and like made Paloma's hair all funky. And then she kind of just hopped about a foot away and turned her back to Paloma, and you could see like the cogs turning, like she was really just thinking. And you gotta just let that process go. You don't want to scare her away from the bunny, especially because Mariposa is so skittish to me. Like, I've had them 3 years. I do nothing but love on them. And every time I walk in the room, it's like, this is it. Like, she's gonna eat us this time, I swear. So to watch that happen, she did it another time very softly about 3 o'clock this morning. And then she got it. She was laying next to her and sleeping next to her. But then she was also coming to me for comfort, which is not something Mariposa ever does. Mariposa doesn't want me to even look at her. And she was loving me, just like rubbing on her eyes and rubbing like a headband sort of like up and touching just the base of her ears. And then if I went a little bit too far, I could tell that like that heightened. And then so you just go back to what she did. Like, she did something, bunny hair everywhere. She did something that neither of my rabbits have ever done in the 3 years that I've had them. And it scared me a little bit. And it's called tooth purring. And it's like a chatter with their teeth. Almost like a cold cartoon character. It's so like chatter. And it's called tooth purring. And it's actually a really good sign that she is happy, which was weird because she's never let me pet her like that before. And she's never, neither one of them have ever tooth chattered before. So I was like, are you sure that doesn't mean that she's scared? But she wasn't hopping away. I was letting it be all on her time. She would go to me and go to Paloma, come back to me. And for like an hour, my arm was gonna fall off because it was sore now. Just petting her exactly how she wanted. Now, I didn't want her to spend the night alone, and I have a different situation here where they have this whole giant living room to themselves. On a big rug. So I just brought a bunch of blankets down and I slept next to the rug, giving her all the space that she normally has, letting Paloma lay there, and gave them all night and with me nearby. And she finally let me go to sleep about 6 o'clock this morning. There was a lot of petting and a lot of checking in on me. And although I guess you could maybe just go to bed like normal, I think for me it was important for Mariposa to know that she's not alone, and that although her friend that she's checking in on isn't responding, like every time she came in to check on me, for me it was important for her to know that I'm here, I'm not going anywhere. So eventually they will lose interest, walk away. It's a really good sign if they start to eat. You want to limit that the grief. And the grief is, losing their appetite, lethargy, hiding from you, not grooming themselves. And oddly enough, Mariposa was like grooming herself a lot. And so I taught body language for humans, criminals as a police officer, and you'll find a lot of self-soothing in people that you're accusing of crimes, whether they're picking their lint or looking at their nails or rocking themselves or holding themselves. Like, you'll see a lot of that because they're going through a lot emotionally, and so you allow that self-soothing behavior in humans, but especially with the rabbits. Like, she's grooming herself for like the first time ever. Like, my tumbleweed is grooming herself, so that's fantastic. I encourage that. And to just like give her space. She wanted to be around me, I would be around her. But one of the things, the major thing you want to look for is GI stasis. If she gets so despondent to the point where she's not eating, if it's been about 8-12 hours, that's time to go to the vet, which I can't handle with another rabbit. So luckily she has been eating like a champion. And then to try to return to a little, it's going to be a different life for them. So the word I could just say is balance. You want them to have that routine of feeding time, the routine of where you're going and the space that you allow them, and where they sleep and all that stuff. But you want to gently transition into a new world for them. And so for Mariposa, that was cleaning up a lot of the chaos that was going on in this room. If you have bunnies, you know, hay gets everywhere, life gets crazy. They're on a big 8x10 waterproof rug, and Paloma was not the potty trained angel that Mariposa is. So all of that got cleaned today. I think it was good for me to just be in this room with her all day, cleaning. She gets so interested in the vacuum. She wants to know what's going on. She doesn't want you to reach out and pet her, but she wants to be there. So any attention that you can just sit nearby or do something near them, bring a project into the room so that they can just sort of be around you and see that they're not alone. Pet them as they want. You know, like if you feel like garbage, you don't want anybody coming up to you and squeezing you and like, let's go eat and let me talk to you and like, what's going on, and talk. Like, it's sometimes, like, especially for me, like I'm one of those people that's just like, leave me alone, let me just figure it out. Like, I need to just like get into my problem right now and figure out what I'm gonna do. And so I would just say balance. If they don't get a lot of floor time, give them increasingly more floor time. You want them to have enrichment, toys. She loves tunnels. She loves this little ball that you put treats in, and so they can knock that around. Stacking cups she really likes. A lot of the chew toys, she doesn't care. She's not a chewer, but kind of just gauge it based off of your bunny. If you guys have bunnies with special personalities, I would love to hear like what has worked for you, what kind of toys work for your bunnies. And just to be there in the comment section maybe for each other, because like this is so emotional. It's just such a terrible thing to go through. But at any rate, we want to make sure that we keep them eating with hay and fresh herbs, like I've talked about what my bunnies eat, and foraging toys. You can scatter some feeding, dig boxes. What I got for Mariposa is like a big, low, bigger than a litter box, but a low storage thing that's enough for them to be able to jump into. And I took regular potting soil for plants from the bag from the store. So this isn't like worms and, you know, a bunch of stuff from outside. This is like clean potting soil. And I threw some hay and some, you know, little treats and stuff in there. And she is a digger. She loves that box. So to make sure that you keep new, fresh things of excitement for her to explore every day, to kind of, it's sort of like humans, like, you know, sometimes through the grief process, the easiest thing to do is just to busy yourself with chores or cleaning or phone calls or whatever. And for you guys, you know, whatever self-soothing helps you out. If that's taking a long bath, if that's just going to bed, if that's calling everybody you know, if that's posting a video here on YouTube, whatever helps you guys get through it. I hope that you never need this information, but you know, just like learning about changing a tire, you are so much better prepared now, hopefully. And I would love to be better prepared too, because I still have Mariposa. I also want to just talk about bonding for a bit and about replacement. You don't want to rush to immediately replace a bonded, there was just like bunny hair floating. You don't want to immediately replace them with a brand new bun. Bonding is very complicated and it can cause a lot of stress initially for your rabbit. So let them have some space. Let them have their grief. You know, if your husband of 30 years just died, you're not going on a date this afternoon. So give him some space. Wait, it could take weeks, it could take months. You're looking for them to be eating normally, having their normal habits, and returning back to their normal personality. We have a lot of growing to do together, Mariposa and I, and so what I'm hoping is that I can teach her to go into more of the house with me, to be my little buddy in other rooms, so that we're together a little bit more. I work a lot, and so my time at home with them has been limited, and so I've always been comforted by the fact that they had each other. So I'm going to need to find ways to get her more into my time schedule, and we'll see what that means. But for now, I'm going to sleep again next to her in this room tonight, because tonight she doesn't have Paloma, and so that she just knows she's not alone in the world. And you guys aren't alone in the world either. So let's talk it out in the chat, and share this with anybody who has a bunny owner or who just likes to watch a grown woman cry on the internet. And I go live every Friday. I talk about all kinds of wild stuff, not about bunnies. But if you want to know more about bunnies or more about my buns or anything, I am mollysleuth@gmail.com. And I am just hoping the best for you and your pets, and I hope that any part of this helped you, because I think it helped me. Now, I'm gonna go be with Mariposa. So, love you guys. Be safe, and happy bunnies. Happy poops. Oh, I did want to say one other thing. I might link it in this video. There was a great video when I first became a bun owner, because the guinea pigs always went to the vet. I do not want to cut those nails. They're black. I can't see through them. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to hurt them. And so I found this great video that this lady showed how to trim rabbit nails, which is so important for their health, and especially if they're indoors and they're not digging and all this stuff. You want to make sure that you have those nails trimmed. I got this little trimmer, and it's got an LED light. It's actually got 2 LED lights, but the one that I use is the one that shines on the nail. And so I don't know if I have anything small enough, but as you put the nail through it, which this is going to be too large, but as you put the nail through it, you can see into the nail where that quick starts. And you don't want to get anywhere near that. It's better to do lots of little trims than one big trim too much. And so what this video showed, and I'll link it in the description, is that you go crimp, and if the bunny hasn't pulled away, then you're not too close to anything, cut. Crimp, cut. And this little trimmer has been so great, and you just plug it in. It's got a little light on it. And so that's another little thing that you should already have on standby, because trimming bunny nails is a big process. If you have to go to the vet, they charge like too much for the visit, so you can totally do it yourself. And so hopefully that helps too. And love you guys, and I will see you on the internet.